The Dictionary of Real Estate Appraisal, page 4. Medical diagnosis, treatment, and care by or under the supervision of physicians to injured, disabled, or sick persons. Adaptive reuse. A new use of an existing building or site, which is usually modified to meet contemporary demand. For instance, the conversion of an obsolete manufacturing building into loft apartments, also called adaptive use. Additional profit centers, APCs. Retail concepts such as pharmacies and fax and copy services that are incorporated into a convenience stores designed to supplement the store's fuel and merchandise revenues. Adjacent describes property that borders or adjoins another property. Adjudicated water rights. Water rights, either surface water rights or groundwater rights, resulting from a court's determination of which specific parties have rights to extract specific amounts from the water source annually and the priority of the claims. Adjudication is generally a lengthy process where all of the impacted parties present claims to the water resource being adjudicated. See also prior appropriation doctrine. Adjudication. Number 1, the legal process of resolving a dispute, the process of judicially deciding a case. Blacks. Number 2, a determination of water rights for an entire stream or groundwater basin. Adjudication sets priorities of rights during shortages. Adjustable rate mortgage, ARM. A debt secured by real property with an interest rate that may move up or down following a specified schedule or in accordance with the movements of a standard or index to which the interest rate is tied. See also variable rate mortgage, VRM. Adjusted basis. In accounting the original cost of a property plus allowable additions. For instance, capital improvements, certain carrying costs, assessments, minus any depreciation taken and partial sales. See also basis, book value. Adjusted demand. See supportable demand. Adjusted funds from operations, AFFO. A measure of cash flow generated by the operation of a real estate company, such as a real estate investment trust, a REIT. Usually calculated by subtracting from funds from operations, FFO, both 1, normalized, reoccurring expenditures that are capitalized by the REIT and then amortized, but which are necessary to maintain a REIT's properties and its revenue stream. For instance, new carpeting and drapes in apartment units, leasing expenses and tenant improvements allowances. And 2, straight line rent expenses. This calculation is also called cash available for distribution, CAD, or funds available for distribution, FAD. Adjusted internal rate of return, AIRR. C, modified internal rate of return, MIRR. Adjusted sale price, the figure produced when the transaction price of a comparable sale is adjusted for elements of comparison in the valuation process. Adjusted cap, a limit upon how much an interest rate can be adjusted as specified in the terms of a mortgage or deed of trust. Could also apply to a rent adjustment. Adjustment grid, a table used to display comparable data and facilitate adjustment of differences in elements of comparison. Adjustments. 1. Mathematical changes made to market data to facilitate comparison or understanding. When dollar adjustments are used, individual differences between comparable properties and page 5. The subject property are expressed in terms of plus or minus dollar amounts. With percentage adjustments, individual differences are reflected in plus or minus percentage differentials. 2. Items that should be prorated or apportioned between the purchaser and seller in a real property transaction. For instance, taxes, rents. See also qualitative analysis, quantitative techniques. ADLs. See activities of daily living. Administrative expenses. The expenses incurred in the operation of real estate rather than in the construction, leasing, or financing of real estate. The items in this category depend on the nature of the real estate, but they usually include the property manager, salary, office rent, office and general expenses, costs for non-custodial personnel, and other services needed to operate that property. Administrative review, outdated term that describes a review performed by a non-appraiser. See also review. Administrator, a person appointed by the court to manage and settle the estate of a deceased person. A representative of limited authority who collects the assets of an estate, pays its debts, and distributes the residue to those entitled. An administrator provides security for the due administration of the estate by entering into a bond with sureties, called an administration bond. See also executor. Administrator's deeds. Deed. A deed conveyed by a person lawfully appointed to manage and settle the estate of a deceased person who has left no executor. ADR. See average daily rate. ADS. See alternative depreciation system. ADT. See average daily traffic. ADU. See accessory dwelling unit. Ad valorem. According to value. Ad valorem tax. A tax levied in proportion to the value of the things being taxed, exclusive of exemptions, use value assessment provisions, and the like. The property tax is an ad valorem tax. IAAO. Adverse possession. The actual, exclusive, open, notorious, hostile, and continuous possession and occupation of real estate under an evident claim of right or title. The time required and the specific elements needed to obtain legal title by adverse possession vary from state to state. Advocacy. Number 1, representing the cause or interest of another, even if that cause or interest does not necessarily coincide with one's own beliefs, opinions, conclusions, or recommendations. Number 2, the act of pleading for or actively supporting a cause or proposal. Blacks. Affidavit, a sworn or affirmed statement or declaration in written form.
This stream has no idea how good it is.
Affirmative easement. The right to perform a specific act on a property owned by another. See also dominant estate, negative easement, servient estate. AFFO. See adjusted funds from operations. Affordability Index. A measure that indicates the ability of potential buyers to purchase a home, such as the Housing Affordability Index, compiled by the National Association of Realtors, based on the most recent monthly price and income data. Affordability Segmentation. A process that identifies the segment of the residential market that has the effective buying power and the desire to reside in the subject's property type. Too little household income results in inadequate buying power. Too much household income results in lack of desire.